Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon.
Welcome back to the Beards and the Bees. We are at my friend and faithful mentor, Scott's house, and we have a problem with some bees. We got David standing over here off to the side. He's our inspector and our foreman and all that other fun stuff, so he will be conducting his routines after which for the state. And Scott, what do we have today?
Well, Aaron, today we got, what's that?
It always starts with, well, Aaron.
Well, Aaron, we've got a hive here that we split off of this hive in very last week of April. And despite the fact that this is the new hive that raised a new queen, I went and did an inspection yesterday just because I hadn't been in them in a few weeks. And found that there in fact are swarm cells in this hive, and they are getting a little swarmy.
Not good.
Preventatively, you know, when you find that, it's too late to shut down a swarming instinct once they've built swarm cells. A lot of people will cut out all the swarm cells thinking that's going to stop them.
No go.
Ain't going to stop them. She'll still swarm. She'll take half of her bees with her, and the other half of your bees will be left behind with no queen cells to raise a new queen. That's a doomed hive.
Yeah. Plus your bees end up in either somebody else's box or in a tree.
Yeah. So you've lost half your bees, and then within a few weeks you'll lose the other half of your bees. So it's better off to just make the best of it. They clearly are a very successful hive, despite the fact that they started off with a pretty small number and had to raise a queen, which put them a month behind the mother hive.
Yeah.
And they've still built up to such a great number and ran out of room in these two deeps that they decided they wanted to spread their genetics somewhere else.
Awesome. Well, but this is the Italians, right?
This is Italian.
Which Italians are noted for their building abilities. So, not as swarmy as the Carniolan.
You all will do your research and you'll read the books, and everybody will tell you Carniolans are more swarmy, and in my experience they are. And an older hive is more likely to swarm, and a new queen is less likely to swarm. Well, here we have a new queen with a new hive of Italians, and here we are heading into July 1 and
Trying to prevent swarming.
yeah. So, what I did last night, because I didn't want to lose half my bees, and they were already well on the way to building swarm cells. Not quite capped yet, but they were getting close on a few of them.
Yeah.
I went ahead and made a split.
Oh, okay.
I took the queen, found her, put her in there, shook a good number of bees, maybe not quite half, but a very good number of bees in there, knowing that some of the bees I was shaking in were workers that would leave this morning and find their way back here. So I made sure to try to find some nurse bees that would stay behind with her. It's not the busiest, biggest hive in the world, but you can see quite a few bees here in this frame. Enough to babysit this queen. And,
now the initial shake, are you not going to give them any more shaken bees in there? Or are they the one shake and done?
One and done.
Okay.
So, I'm sure several of the bees from this hive are out foraging right now. Some are coming home, as you can see. Let's see what this one's doing.
David, could you come in here and get a good look at this? Okay, maybe later.
We don't need to dig into this medium. They're working this, just filling it up with some honey. It's already feeling a little heavy. Now, I already inspected this hive yesterday. Usually your queen cells will be hanging off the bottom of a frame in your second deep.
In the second deep?
Not off the first deep.
Because there's room in the second one.
Right.
Will they do it in the third one? Because we go
Yes.
3 high. So they do it anywhere where they can hang. Basically.
Yeah, they could hang, but I think I've read that the theory is too much draft coming in the door.
Yep.
So they don't like the queen cells hanging down into that. They'd rather have it in this space.
That makes sense.
But if you had a 3 deep, could be in this space too.
Yeah.
So I can already tell you, this one was free of queen cells. This one
Not so much.
had many. I left some gaps so I didn't crush the queen cells as I put them back in.
See that?
So let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3 all had queen cells on them.
Wow.
Which again, that's the usual thing. With
Yeah.
emergency queens, you'll only get a few queen cells made. You know, if you crushed the queen,
Yeah.
they'll try to raise a new queen.
Yeah. That's a nice thing of honey there.
Usually they'll be off the face of the frame because that's where she had laid eggs, and they got to go with the eggs that they've got. When they're planning to swarm, though, because it's a plan, they drive her to the bottom where they've pre-prepared some queen cells that face down, and they get her to lay in those.
I've always actually wondered why they do that. Because everybody says that supersedure cells are in the middle and swarm cells are at the bottom, but nobody ever says why. So
I don't think there's anything on 2, but let's just look. Look at all that pollen.
oh yeah, bee bread. Looks
Little-
like it's mixed.
Little drone comb at the bottom.
Oh,
There's one.
that's a swarmy cell. See, it's at the bottom. Little peanut.
Do you see any larvae in there?
I don't.
I think you're right. Okay, now look there.
Oh wow.
Hold the end of that frame up. Don't drop that ear. See, there's one. There's one. And there's, you see them all? And I bet you see some royal jelly in the bottom of that one.
Oh yeah.
And
see it in
oh,
there?
look at this fat, juicy guy right here. Look at that. This one's sealed. They might be getting close to capping it. This one too. Is that? Yeah, look at all that juicy brood. So this,
Yummy.
now,
That's awesome.
that's what you're looking for. This is a hive getting ready to swarm. Typically, the minute they've got the first cells sealed,
Yep.
they've got a queen cooking on the way.
It's on.
That's her signal to leave. I didn't know how close they were to having these capped. That's why I split it last night.
Smart.
If I'd caught this today,
She might have been gone.
I'd be looking at that capped cell, feeling a little nervous that they were just about to head out the door.
Yep.
Now, I'm doing this for your video, but generally for queen cells, you do not want to do a lot of flipping upside down and back and forth,
Yeah.
because the larva that's hanging in that cell, she doesn't like to be shaken up.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to be very careful to keep her oriented down, and I'm not going to drop this frame in. I don't like a lot of vibration. Okay. And I'm not going to crush that against, I'm going to violate bee space, and I'm going to leave a little gap when I tighten these up, because those cells stick out a little more, and I don't want to mush them.
Yeah.
And I know they're on both sides, so I'll leave a gap on both sides. Sometimes the cell is hanging off so far down, it's attached to the top of the frame in that
Oh.
box, and it'll rip the cell open.
As you're pulling it up. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Which is why I'm okay right now with leaving more than one cell. But I'm not going to leave 20 cells in here.
Yeah.
All of those there, what I'm going to do is come back tomorrow or the next day, and I'm going to see maybe 4, 5, 6 cells sealed.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the best, biggest, fattest looking ones, and I'm going to destroy all the others.
Oh, okay.
And I'm only going to leave 2 or 3.
Makes the competition a lot smaller.
And, well, the thing is, if you start, because if we hadn't caught this in time, and they sealed some swarm cells, and she swarmed with her hive,
Yeah.
the first one, unlike a supersedure queen or an emergency queen, where first queen out will go destroy all her unhatched rivals, these won't. First one out may just take half of the bees that are left and swarm again. And then the next queen out will take half of what's left.
So
You can get
cycle.
secondary, tertiary, quaternary swarms, each coming out and swarming the hive to death.
Wow.
So I will reduce the number of hatching swarm cells to just like the one I want and maybe a backup,
Yeah.
2 at the most,
Yeah.
so that I'm raising a queen that'll stay with this hive and they won't keep leaving.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yep.
I knew that one was there, that's why I left her. This one got ripped open yesterday. You can see it's kind of torn at the bottom. I don't know if they'll cap that or not.
Looks like you got one over there.
And the other thing you got to be careful of when you're going through and destroying
Yep.
those so that you don't get too many. We got this thing going here. Look at that big larva there. But that's not going to be a nice good queen. She's already running out of room. I'm going to take that out. That's a lot of protein. These bees will just eat and reuse.
Yep.
Look here. They're not always off the bottom of the,
No.
because where there's a dip in the comb, they'll see that as the bottom of the comb.
Oh.
That's more like what you'd call a supersedure cell, right?
Yep.
Not sure. Yeah, there is a larva in it. So for now, we'll leave it. So the other side, one of these, here, let me give just a little. When I want them to get moving, that's what I do sometimes. Just, they'll get out of the way. Yeah, okay, so I don't see anything hidden here on the face. And there's nothing dangling off the bottom.
See some drones, but not much else.
This is the one I noticed yesterday. That one on the face, I didn't notice yesterday, but I did see this guy and the one next to it.
Gotta watch those dips.
Yep.
Is there a couple of them in there?
There's 2. This one's got a larva, this doesn't. But we do have a queen cell there
Yeah.
getting going.
Decent size one too.
Yep.
Maybe a keeper.
Could be. Oh yeah. Look here.
Oh yeah.
May. Actually, I don't think this one didn't get filled with anything. And I don't think that one did either. Nope. Here, hold that and I'll make my life easier tomorrow. So I know I don't have to check these. That's a nice big size one. They just didn't get an egg laid in it. And nothing on the face. And same thing here. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, we have some pretty solid
So,
cells there.
10, 9, 8, 7 are clear, but 6, 5, 4 all have cells. So I have 3 frames with cells. Now, if you were really in the interest of expanding your apiary,
Always.
you could pull this frame and put it in a nuke.
Yeah.
Each of these frames could go in its own nuke. Maybe leave one in here for this hive to requeen itself,
Yeah.
and still get 2 more nukes,
Full of bees.
raising a queen from this frame and a queen from this frame.
Okay. So the question that I would have, and I'm assuming that a lot of my beginner beekeeper friends, because a lot of these guys are kind of going along with me, my first question would be, if we do a split at this time, is it hit and miss whether or not they'll build up enough numbers to get through the winter?
This early, it's only end of June.
Yeah.
They'd have basically 4 or 5 months to build up.
Yeah.
It's not crazy late to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would try it with an August swarm.
Yeah.
But no. And remember, if you have a nuke and you keep trying to add, say, a second, maybe a 5-frame nuke, you can add a second 5-frame nuke box on top of that. Now you have 10 frames. Put that in a single 10-frame box, and then throw another 10-frame box on. That's how you build it up to hive.
Okay.
If they don't get there, just combine it with back
the
with
other
this.
hive. Oh, we're back into here?
Sure.
Oh. So just pinch one of the queens?
Pinch a queen, newspaper, combine.
You said that. Newspaper with some tiny slices cut through it.
Set your newspaper across the top, slit, 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 put the second box on. As they chew their way through the newspaper, the hive that doesn't have a queen gradually gets used to the pheromone of the hive that does, so that they don't fight.
That's awesome.
So you could do that in September to take a weak hive, or maybe 2 nukes that you hoped might get there. Not really. Crush 1 queen, 2 nukes, becomes 1 hive with a decent chance at summer.
I imagine it also helps a lot too. So for the beginner beekeepers like myself, we don't have a lot of drawn out comb like Scott does. So I imagine your second year, when a lot of this stuff is really when this information is going to be coming out and being useful, is you already have drawn comb for them to go in there and just start plugging stuff into cells. So that's good.
It's a little easier to make that split.
Exactly.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these frames the space I want them, just so I'm not crushing those queen cells. I'm leaving those 2 ears.
Get in here and show that, Sammy. How far?
Instead of bumping them up so the ears touch each other, I'm basically leaving a bee space in between that ear.
Yep. Oh, just so they can glide through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, there it is. Just a little re-inspection to show you those queen cells and what I'll be looking for tomorrow or the next day when I pull those back out. I'll do it the same way. I'll remove this one so I got plenty of room to work these gently. And then I'll pick my choicest 2 or 3 queen cells and destroy all the others. And if you don't want to run the risk of repeated swarming, you really want to kill or get rid of as many of those extra swarm cells as you can.
So you said probably around 3 to 5.
2 or 3.
2 or 3? So about 2 or 3. Okay, cool. That's killer hat though.
Thanks.
So that wraps up today's video. It was awesome, a lot of good information. We will hear back from him on Wednesday. We're gonna go through the nuke that he brought over to the house and kind of go over what the plan was before it got deleted. Samantha Ann, beautiful. Did I guys tell you my wife is very lovely? And then we will recap from there. So until next time, friends, like, comment, subscribe, insult if need be, and we will see you guys in the next video.